Meanwhile, Maria, Miriam's sister, woke up because she needed a drink of water. Remembering she hadn't filled her water skin, she left her room to get some to quench her thirst. But what piqued her curiosity and made her change course towards the rooftop was Miriam's voice and her solitary laughter. She was frightened by the thought that her sister might be secretly seeing someone, away from everyone's eyes. She walked quietly upstairs until she spotted her sitting in the middle of the roof, talking to someone who wasn't there. At that moment, Hazem sensed her presence and whispered to Mariam, who quickly turned towards her sister. This terrified Maria even more than the fear that had gripped her just moments before when she saw her sister talking to herself as if someone were right beside her. "Compose herself," she approached Mariam and asked, "What are you doing here at this hour, and who are you talking to?" Before her sister could answer, she added, "And how did you know I was behind you when I didn't make a sound?" Mariam smiled and said, "I just felt you." "So, who were you talking to a moment ago?" Mariam rose from her seat and gathered everything she had brought, preparing to leave without paying any attention to her sister's questions. She thought that if she ignored her and pretended not to care, everything would be over. But that sister refused to return to her husband's house before discovering the secret Mariam was hiding. Day after day, because of Mariam's whispers to her parents, the whole family began to believe that their daughter was possessed by a demon in love. In that moment when silence fell over the living room, Buthaina raised her head to her husband, tears glistening in her eyes, and said in a hoarse voice, "Shall we hold a funeral for my daughter when she hasn't even been buried?" "How can I accept that, Muhammad? How can I believe that Mariam is just a memory?" But Muhammad no longer had any answer. He only looked at the ground, as if something was trying to salvage what little hope remained within him. Before he could open his mouth to continue speaking, they were interrupted by a violent knocking on the palace door, a knock unlike the usual knocking from those seeking a reward. Buthaina's heart trembled, while Muhammad walked heavily to the door and opened it, to find a strange old man standing before him, tall, with a thick beard, and his features didn't suggest he was from the village. The old man said in a gruff voice, "Are you Mariam's family?" The couple exchanged looks before Muhammad answered, "Yes. Do you know anything about her?" The sheikh shook his head slowly and said, "Your daughter is not dead, but she is not among humans now." Buthaina gasped and quickly grabbed the hem of the sheikh's dress and said, "Where is she? Please, is my daughter okay?" He looked at her with a deep look, as if he could see what was behind her soul, then said, "Fine, but she is not yours anymore." Muhammad's voice trembled as he asked, "What do you mean?" The sheikh answered as he stepped into the palace without asking permission, as if the place belonged to him. "Mary is not sick nor possessed, but someone chose her." "From? The one you thought was a devil?" "But he is not." Buthaina froze in her place, while the sheikh continued. "Mariam was born with a light that no human being has, a light that attracts what you cannot see with your eyes. These beings have tried to approach her for years, but they did not allow anyone to approach her, except only one." Muhammad said, Do you love him?" The sheikh smiled a small smile and said, "Love is a human word, but it was his possession since the first night she saw him on the roof of the house." "She saw him? Did he see her? What are you saying?" "Yes, you saw Mary talking to the air, but what you did not know is that that air was filled with a being standing next to her." Buthaina fell on the sofa and the sheikh continued his words. "He disappeared with Mariam because he knew of your fear. He knew that you would try to get rid of him, or her." "So, Mary was kidnapped?" "She was not kidnapped. She chose." There was a deadly silence for a few seconds before the sheikh continued in a low voice. "But she is in danger now." Muhammad raised his head sharply. "Danger? From what?" "From the world to which he took her. Mary is not one of them, and he cannot contain her light except under specific conditions. If they are not fulfilled, her light will be extinguished forever." Buthaina shouted, "What should we do?" "You will go with me. Tonight." "To where?" "To the place where Mary disappeared, to the gateway to the other world." Then he added sternly, "No one returns from there unless she wants to return." The couple's heart trembled, but they did not hesitate. Their daughter, whatever the truth, is still there, waiting. That night, when darkness fell and silence prevailed, the three stood in front of the valley where her screams were said to have been heard. The old man raised his right hand and muttered words that no one understood. Suddenly the ground shook under their feet, and a strange light exploded from between the rocks, forming a circular portal that resembled a hole swallowing up the night. The sheikh said in a shaking voice, "From here, the truth begins." "Will we see her?" "Yes, but be careful. Mariam is not what she used to be." Then he turned to Muhammad and Buthaina. "When you enter that gate, do not speak, do not whisper, do not call her name, unless she addresses you first. The world out there hears more than you see." The couple looked at each other, then exchanged a brief nod. Then they stepped towards the gate, and the light swallowed them whole. On the other side, Mary was waiting, but her features were not completely human features.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. Activate the bell for all new content.